Welcome to Portfolio Builders Club Market Update. We're going to start here with the SPY, look at the VIX, then we're going to move on to the Mag 7 plus Netflix. We'll take a quick look at futures, and then we'll jump into a few popular ETFs, and then maybe some popular stocks as well. So just getting started with the SPY ETF here, just get an overall view of the market. We can see that from a macro standpoint, going way back, to this dip way back in 2020, and looking at the Fibonacci of the first move, we did pull back exactly 50%, and then we took off to the upside. Our overall target at this point, we've hit two targets already. Our overall target at this point is about the 640, 642 level up here is where we're expecting to go. We are having some trouble getting up to that level at this particular point now that we've passed through some major levels already, but the idea is that we're trending toward that particular price level. Again, no one can predict what's going to happen in the market. Even though we had even these pullbacks that we had here throughout this time period, you can't predict really when that's going to happen. You can seasonally sort of look at things and say, March, April, May, and then maybe July, August, September timeframe that you would maybe expect to see some sort of pullbacks and that sort of thing. But overall, day to day, you can't know what's going to happen in the market, whether it's going to go up or down. Nobody really can predict that. But what we can say is that from a moving average standpoint, this is the 200-day moving average, the lower blue line here, that the price is moving in accordance to the upward moving 200-day moving average. So on average, based on the 200, the price is moving up. This other blue line, the smaller blue line, is the 100-day moving average. And you could say the same thing there, that on average, the price is moving up. And then if you want to get into more micro movements and that sort of thing, you would look at the 25-day moving average, which is this green and red moving average, and you can maybe scalp out some areas where you think the price will continue to move up according to that, just based on the average. So really all you really have are the averages. So day to day, you really don't know what's going to happen. Even in recent days, we've had like a pullback, that's been occurring in the SPY, which brought it back down to the 25-day moving average, and it appears to have bounced off of that. So our anticipation here, based on the next few candles that come out, really is that it will continue to move upward. Now, we do have to consider that this is an election year, and we have an election coming up pretty soon. So the election will impact the stock market. And speaking of, the stock market, of course, is open during the day, and the election will, maybe have its results at night, and we'll see generally where we're headed at night. So what we will note is that the futures market, it will still be open. And anyone who's sort of looking at the futures market or invested in the futures market will have the opportunity to jump into that market movement that might begin the night before the election results are fully in. So keep that in mind, so we'll know whether we're going to have a gap up, gap down, or no movement at all, really. But the idea is that a lot of players are going to be in the market and watching the market, and they're already positioning and planning and trying to make sure that they have the capital ready to deploy in the way that they want to deploy it during that election. So that's a pretty major event for the United States. All right, so looking at the SPY again, we've had a pullback here, and it looks like we're about to bounce off of the 25-day moving average. So we'll just see how that sort of plays out. But overall, we are still bullish. There's no indication that we're going to be bearish. In order to get bearish, we really have to drop below this 200-day moving average, which right now would probably put you about a 530 is where you would have to drop to. That would seem unusual unless there was some major event that maybe caused that to happen. But right now, we're still bullish and expecting to hit our overall higher price target again of 640. Let's take a look at the VIX. So this is the volatility index, and when you see spikes in the VIX, this is where the S&P 500 generally will go down or is going down, and then there is an average though, maybe a 50 to 75 or maybe 80, I guess 85 here, where once it gets up into this range, it generally will turn around, and the overall market, the SPY, will generally start to go back up. But when you have these volatility spikes, this is where the market starts to somewhat tank. So you have to watch out for that. Right now, it looks like it is trending a little bit on the high side, but if it drops back down, that means that the SPY is going to be moving up. All right, let's jump into the Mag 7 plus Netflix. Just taking a look at Apple, we want to just sort of see where we are now. Again, we've experienced some pullbacks, but that's expected because, again, we are looking at the average price. The average price, if we look at the 100-day moving average here on Apple, is that Apple's moving up. It has hit sort of this pivot point here where it's not able to sort of get above that just yet. But the idea is that, yes, we are getting higher lows, and we expect this to continue on up to our next price target, which would be about 256, as we have it marked out here. All right, so that's what we're expecting for Apple. Amazon, same story about the pullback, in the recent time here, but overall, again, we're looking at average price. So the average price, even based on the 200, is that we're going higher. On the 100, we're going higher. We are starting to plateau a little bit on the 100, but overall, we're still moving higher, and we would anticipate this price to continue on to the next targets, which could be well above this $200 level. We have to break this $200 level, so that's what we're going to look at first, just the $200 level. So that's it for Amazon. Jumping over to Google. We're looking like we're bouncing off of this sort of golden zone here, 61.8, and we had a moving, not a moving average, but we had a trend line here, a trend line bounce that occurred here, and it's continuing to trend toward the upward direction. So that's what we're expecting. The price target we have here is about 191 for the first price target. So we'll continue to watch this one. It is still positive. It's still on average above the 200-day moving average. As long as we maintain that, we're still okay. So we'll continue to watch Google for that. Meta. All right, looking at Meta. Again, experiencing some pullback here. But overall for Meta, we're looking at a Fibonacci move and the moving averages maintained above the 100-day moving average, but Fibonacci move from the 61.8, and we're expecting it to get up to the 622 level right now. Again, day you can't predict whether it's going to go up or down, but we are experiencing somewhat of a pullback. But on average, pretty much as long as we stay with this 100-day moving average, we expect to eventually get to that 620 level. So we'll continue to watch that. Microsoft. So Microsoft has been bouncing a lot with this 200-day moving average. So with the bounces that it's doing, these are nice little entry areas as far as the price, as far as finding a value price, a low discounted price near this 200-day moving average seems to be where the discount is. So as we continue to watch this, we are expecting this to push up to about this 467 level and continue to move up. On average, we're moving up though. Let's jump to Netflix. All right, so here we are with Netflix. Same thing, using Fibonacci retracement here and the 61.8 bounce, and we're expecting this to continue. We already hit the 740 price target. The next price target we're looking at is about $794 to $800 is the next price target. Again, we don't know. It could pull back some, but on average, it looks like about the 100-day moving average seems to be what it sticks with. So it could pull back to that 100-day moving average and then continue back up. But the idea is that on average, the price is moving up still. So long-term investments are really the best. All right. NVDA. So NVIDIA, looking at the same thing, we had a bounce off Fibonacci level, this golden zone sort of area, and then we're moving up. Next price target, we hit the 140 price target for NVIDIA, but then we're moving up to the 157, 160 level would be the next price target. So we'll continue to watch that. Tesla. So Tesla did have that drop sort of after the robo-taxi event. And you can just pretty much blame that on news around that particular event and that sort of thing. And the idea now is that as they have earnings coming out, it sounds like they're going to be gapping up from here and moving on up. $300 is really where we're looking at. We had a price target at 270 that we're looking at first, and then we're looking at a price target at 306, roughly 307 or the $300 range. So that's what we're expecting for Tesla. Things are really looking bright for Tesla overall. They have a lot of innovation going on and a lot of things that we can look forward to in the future. So the growth is there for the future for Tesla. All right, we're going to jump into futures and we'll just take a look at the ES. So looking at the ES here, let me take some of these lines out so we can just sort of get a look at the moving averages. So with the ES, again, we are looking at average price. So on average, if we look at the 100-day moving average, on average, that 100-day moving average is moving up and toward the right. So price is moving up on average. Again, day to day, we can't predict what the price movement really is going to be. We just know that on average, it's moving up. So if we catch it at a discount price, somewhere near a discount price, 100, 200-day moving average, the idea is that we would expect that to continue to move up going forward. If we wanted to get a little bit more micro with it and into the day trading range and that sort of thing, yeah, you would look at the 25-day moving average and sort of see if you can catch a discount price. Again, you don't always know that it's going to bounce off of the 25-day moving average, but for those who are micro scalpers or micro investors, you spend more time studying this and you would drop down to a lower time frame chart. Of course, this is the daily chart because we're just doing outlook overall. So, all right, let's bring back the drawings. All right, so we expect that just to continue up. Let's look at gold. These are futures. So gold futures in these markets are open and still trading, and you'll see gap up in ETFs and things, in the morning based on where the price gap up or down, based on what the price changes are in the futures market. So that's where the gap up and gap down occurs. So looking at gold, a hint about gold. So all year gold has been trending up. Gold pretty much sticks with the 25-day moving average. So if you catch a price at a discount near the 25-day moving average, you're in a pretty good position to ride that up. There have been some areas where the 25-day moving average started moving down a bit, but it never really moved too far. So the idea is that if you're getting at or below that 25-day moving average, you're at a pretty good price. So in recent times, we had that sort of happen here, and then price continued to move up. It happened here as well, happened here as well. So that's pretty much a hint for gold. If you're trading gold, is to look at that 25-day moving average. All right. We expect that to continue up again. We might get a pullback back to the 25-day moving average and continue on. But right now, there's a lot of interest in gold. I don't know if BRICS and other things are paying having some impact on the gold price, where you have all these countries that are buying gold to back their new currencies and things like that. So we are seeing some really high prices for gold overall. All right, we'll look at the Nasdaq here. This is the micro E-mini futures for Nasdaq, and again, on average, we just zoom out here and look at it on average. For even on the 200-day moving average, we're saying that price is moving up on average. So that's what we're looking at for the NQ. And if you look at the 25-day moving average right now, we're definitely in the uptrend aspect of this particular average move to the upside. We did have the pullback, but it seems to be bouncing off of that 25-day moving average. So we'll have to continue to watch that to see if it will continue to move up. We're expecting it to go ahead and move up to the upside of this sort of channel. You'll see this rectangle box that we have here is a channel, that it will continue to move to the upside of that channel. So we'll see if it can break through some of these current prices that it's at, then we'll see where it goes. But that's the Nasdaq. All right. Let's take a look at Bitcoin futures. So with Bitcoin futures, we were trending through 69,000, and we were trying to get to 70,000. We did experience the same pullback that happened across the market. We are starting to push back up into that. Looks like we're at 68,000 at this point. So they anticipate that it will reach the 70,000 at some point, and we'll have to just continue to watch that. Of course, 25-day moving average is trending upward. Price is above the 100-day, above the 200-day moving average. So things are looking pretty good. We are at the top of this range of this expanding wedge, you might call it, I guess, that we have here. So we expect a breakout, at this particular point to try to get to about 70,000. All right. I think that's everything for futures for now. Let's jump into ETFs. So ETFs, GLD. So again, looking at the futures market is a good thing because then you can kind of see what's going on with the ETFs that might be related to the same assets. So this is GLD. We were looking at gold, and that was steadily moving up. And again, we're looking at the same thing here, moving up. It seems to be following this 25-day moving average. Again, this is the ETF, so you're looking at regular market hours pretty much for the movement and activity for this particular asset. So we would anticipate, even if it pulls back again to that 25-day moving average, that it'll continue on. IWM. So this is the Russell, and that's trending up as well. On average, we're looking at the 200-day moving average and the 100-day moving average. Pretty much between that range is where you find a discount price for the Russell, and it's continuing to move up. So price target right now is about 232, 235 is the price target. QQQ, this is like your equivalent to the Nasdaq, and we continue to see this move up. We're definitely above the 25-day moving average, so that's a really good sign there. Let's look at TQQ, which is sort of like a 3x version of QQQ. But basically, it's either 2x or 3x. I have to look into that exactly. But either way, this is moving up. This is at 25-day moving average, and we expect this to kind of continue on. We're trying to get to this all-time highs if that's going to happen. So we'll see what happens. VOO continue to move up. Very strong movement here on average. If you look at the 100-day moving average, and I guess between the 100 and 200-day moving average for sure, we are trending upward. So again, we don't know if price will pull all the way back to the 100 again and then continue on, but the idea is that we are on upward trajectory. Let's go to VTI. VTI looks the same. This is the total stock index from Vanguard. It looks very positive as well. XLF, so this is the financial sector spider. So this is definitely trending up again on average. Looking at the 100-day moving average, or if you look at the 25-day moving average, in between the two of those, price is trending up. The discount is between 25 and the 100 pretty much here. So continues to trend up. We would expect that just to continue on. 48 or 49 is the next target for that. So we'll continue to watch that. All right, so we'll just jump into a few of the popular stocks. We'll look at a firm. So a firm is here, and right now we're looking at a firm trying to get back to the all-time highs, but that would be approximately from where we are now about a 300% move. Now this is the daily chart. That would take quite a bit of time possibly to get to that particular price, but the idea is that the overall trend should be up. Again, we're starting to ease on the interest rates, so as interest rates lower, we would expect them to have more business. Of course, they have to collect on those loans that they're giving out and that sort of thing, but we'd expect them to have more business at lower rates, so and be able to make more money otherwise. All right, so let's see. Let's go to AVGO. So AVGO, Broadcom is continuing to trend up again on average. 100, 200-day moving average, 100, 200-day moving average right now. That's the discount price. We continue to move up, and the trend is to the upside. Again, it could pull back into that range again, and that would present a new opportunity. Let's look at BlackRock. All right, so BlackRock is continuing to move up. We're looking at this from a Fibonacci retracement standpoint, from this low to this high, pull back into our golden pocket here around 61.8, and now we pushed all the way up to this first price target, and we should continue on to a price target about 11,150, let's say. So again, this is a daily chart, so this takes time. All right, Car Gurus, just like Carvana, should be doing pretty well here. And as the interest rates lower, again, we're expecting all these car companies, uh, online sales car companies, to be able to close on more loans, and people would be more interested in getting a car and getting more expensive cars, I guess, if the rates are lower and that sort of thing. So we did break through this gap pivot zone. That's one thing about gaps. A lot of people talk about filling a gap, but most times the first time you come to a gap, it shows as a pivot zone. So that's an important thing to think about. So like as you see this gap, and then as we hit it, we pivoted away. We hit it, we pivoted away from it. And it always sort of deflected. At some point, it finally does. Price does go through it, and again, if price is moving to the upside, it's gonna has to go through it eventually. But it does go through it and it continues on. But I view gaps as pivot zones, so that's the important thing to remember here. But at any rate, we made it through that pivot zone at this point, and so now we're looking to continue this 100% move to the upside here. So that's it for Car Gurus. Let me jump to Carvana since we're talking about cars right now. Same thing here. You'll see again these gap zones, like this gap here. It didn't fill the gap like a lot of people talk about. It actually pivots off of the gap, and here it came pivoted off the middle of that gap, and it just kind of continues up. But at any rate, we're looking at trying to get the all-time highs, which would be completion of a 200% move, and this is the daily chart. So it's a great long-term investment. Otherwise. All right, let's see. Let's jump to Coinbase here. So Coinbase has been struggling a little to get above this pivot zone here. So it did pull back, and it did go below the 200-day moving average, and now it's just starting to show a little bit of movement above the 20-day, 100, and the 25-day moving average. So that's a positive sign. So we'll have to watch and see if it can maintain above this. But we did try to break through this about 3 or 4 times, and we're unable to get through this 268 level. So if we can get back to that level and break through it, then we'd see a lot of movement. Now, the price of Bitcoin will help that. If Bitcoin goes to 70 or 75, that should propel Coinbase all the way up to these previous highs at about let's say at about 370. Let's say. All right. Let's see. Let's go through a couple more of these. Let's just take a look at CrowdStrike. So CrowdStrike, of course, we had the cyber issue, I guess, across the world, really, where the price really tanked on us. But it is steadily starting to grind back up. So we would expect that just to continue to grind to the upside over time. This is a daily chart. So news will impact this if there's any negative news that comes out. All right. Let's look at Trump Enterprises, Trump Media. So this is a play, money over politics. The play here is that as we run into the election, we would expect this price to just run up. If Trump wins the election, price will probably really run up even more. If you lose the election, price will probably just drop off. So the idea right now is that it's moving up as we move closer to election day in the United States. So we'll just continue to watch this and see what happens. Let's see. Let's go to DraftKings. So DraftKings has been having some trouble trying to really recover and get back to the high levels it was at about 50, I guess. Right now we're at about 36. So we are starting to show some positive signs where we're above the 200 and 100-day moving average. But right now we are experiencing the same pullback really that the rest of the markets is experiencing. But we'll try to see if it can show its head above this water sort of level and continue to move up. But it is having some struggles doing that after having a great recovery earlier. It's just having a little bit of trouble getting above a certain level here. So we'll see if it can make it to those all-time highs or not. So continue to watch that. Ford Motor Company. So Ford, it's been in a range for some time. This is the daily chart again. It did hit the bottom of that range. Again, this will be your discount prices down here in this box. So right now, if we come out of this particular range and continue to move up again, that will present some opportunities. All right, let's take a look at Palantir. So Palantir, very close to these previous all-time highs. It almost touched them the other day. But the idea is we're looking at this breaking the previous all-time high. Again, we don't know what happened day to day. On average, the price is trending between the 100 and 200-day moving average is trending to the upside. So price could pull back and then go ahead and push through, but the idea is it's trending to the upside. Our price target is just to get to the previous all-time high for right now, which is about 44.45. All right, and I think we'll just take one look at Wolf, which is a Bitcoin miner. So we'll take a look at this. These really don't have very strong financials when you start to look at the financial statements, and they missed earnings 3 out of 4 quarters. You look at income, you see that they're not making any money, but they are losing less than they were in the past. But overall, there's a lot of people interested in trading the stock itself. So you do see this upward movement in the stock. And again, we were just talking about averages. On average, this is going up. So as it continues to go up, it'll hit 100% movement at about the let's see, $9 level. So we'll continue to watch that. All right, and we'll go to conclude with that. All right. So this has been the Portfolio Builders Club Market Update.